Negativity about when gas prices will be 65 cents again. This was a blog from August 7, 2011 by J.R. Fibonacci Hun. That's me. Now, I'm reviewing this because it's some pretty interesting stuff. Let's start with an analogy. Then I'll tell you about when gas prices will be 65 cents per gallon again, and when the U.S. economy will recover, okay? Do you know how much the speed limit is for a school zone? Many school zones have speed limits around 25 miles per hour, but they can even be as low as 15. Imagine, however, that someone was driving through a school zone at about 50 miles per hour. This was during school hours, but all that happened in this case was that the driver hit a speed bump pretty hard. No, not a kid, but just a speed bump in the road. And the driver was startled to notice that there was a speed bump there, and then only noticed at that point that the speed limit was 25. Now, I don't know how many of you know any 84-year-old women. However, some 84-year-old women do not like the idea of speed bumps. Some of them say things like, "I'm concerned that this speed bump could damage my car." I might say, "The speed bumps are not likely to damage your car if you drive over them at 15 miles per hour instead of, for instance, 50 miles per hour." She might say, "Yeah, but I do not appreciate those people trying to damage my car like that. It's just not right." Okay, so this is how I found out about the 50 mile per hour race through the school zone and her startling discovery of a speed bump right there in the middle of the school zone. I said to her, "Wow, you know that driving 50 miles per hour over a speed bump can damage your car, right?" And she said, "Yes, but I do not appreciate your negativity about the subject. Think positive." I said, "I am thinking positive. I'm thinking that because you like to stay out of jail, then you can observe the speed limit, especially in the school zones, and make sure to slow down before you drive over those speed bumps. It's just not safe to drive that fast in a school zone." "So what you're saying is that I should buckle my seatbelt? You always say that, and it's so annoying," she said. "Didn't you have it on?" I replied. "No, I don't like how they feel. You know, that strap just bothers my neck," she said. Well, so that is sometimes how conversations go. People may categorize as negative something that they would prefer to dismiss, like school zones and speed bumps and traffic cops and stuff like that. Categorizing something as negative, other than a negative number or a negative ion, can actually be a process of dismissing it or negating it. The so-called negativity of a recommendation to slow down, like, reduce your speed or produce a negative change in your speed by lowering it. Slow down. That recommendation to slow down before driving over a speed bump is not inherent in the recommendation or the speed bump. The label of negativity implies a contrast between positive reinforcement, like don't go fast would be negative, and slow down, we could say that's positive. So the label of negativity implies a contrast between positive reinforcement or encouragement and negative reinforcement or discouragement. Don't go fast, in contrast to reduce your speed or drive 15 miles an hour through this zone. Next, we're going to talk about gas prices, but since this is a little bit long, I'm going to separate it into a separate section. Coming up next, how this analogy applies to gas prices, how the analogy of the speed bump thing applies to gas prices.